Can I still skateboard after taking 20 years off and not end up in the hospital? I used to skateboard a lot when I was younger. I think from the ages of 12 to probably about 17 or 18. And it was my life. Jumping down stairs and sliding down handrails. Growing up in the 90s in the suburbs, there was nowhere to skateboard. We had to make the stuff that we actually skated. We built quarter pipes, boxes, and rails. I actually even had a mini ramp in my backyard for a while, which was awesome. The few spots that we had were always kind of busted. We would get chased off of private property by security guards all the time. The skate parks that did come around usually went bust within a couple of months. It was a bit of a challenge to go out and skate. And then one day when I was probably about 17 or 18, I just stopped skateboarding. I can't remember why it happened exactly, but I do remember that at some point, I just wasn't really a skater anymore. What I can tell you though is that deep down, I always had this love for skateboarding that never really went away. I still notice spots that I think would be good to skate. Like I'd see a waxed ledge and wonder if anybody's been skating it, or kind of look at a set of stairs and wonder what kind of tricks have been done down it. There was this moment about 6 years ago when I almost picked it up again. I was visiting a friend of mine in California, and right across from his house was this beautiful concrete skate park. So I got super excited and I went to the mall and bought a board and shoes, and I actually did skate around that park for a day. I felt super wobbly, but it was really fun to just kind of cruise around on the board. But when I got home, I put the skateboard in the closet and it never really came out again. Until recently. I moved, and the new neighborhood that I'm in, everything's really close, so I got that old skateboard and pulled it out and started riding it around just for transportation. And then one day, I hit this crack in the pavement and I flew, and I took a huge spill and like scraped my arm. I think just riding around on the board and falling off, but being able to stand up and not have any broken bones or torn ligaments, I felt like, oh, well, maybe I can actually go and try and do some tricks again. It's been about 6 weeks now that I've been back on the board, trying tricks like I used to do when I was younger. And I can tell you it's pretty frustrating at first. There's a lot of adjustment, but so far it's totally been worth it. So if you have been off for a while, like I had, and you're thinking about getting back into it, I made a little something just for you.
The Distinguished Gentleman's How-To Guide presents Executing a Graceful Return to Wheelie Plank Trickery. Step 1. Procure a sufficient wheelie plank.
Okay, so this part is pretty obvious. You're gonna need a skateboard. If you have one in the attic, just dust it off and bring it out and start riding around. The board I had these sort of really big soft wheels. I actually needed something that was a little bit harder and smaller, so I went out and grabbed some new wheels. Having the proper setup was a big improvement, even something as minor as wheels. If you have something, that's great. If you don't have something, then start doing some Googling, go to a local shop, talk to somebody, do something, get a board.
Step 2. Proceed to a suitable wheelie plank facility.
If you're lucky and you're in a big city, there's probably a park around you that has something that is like what you used to skate. I found this park that was really close to my house, and I went over and I checked it out, and it had this massive, gnarly concrete bowl. I didn't really skate bowls much when I was a kid, but seeing this thing, I was super jacked up, like I was gonna be this crazy bowl skater all of a sudden. I remember getting in it, strapping the full pads on because I was so nervous. I know now that I was much better suited to go to this little street area that was right next to the bowl, and that's where I've been doing most of my skateboarding.
Step 3. Ensure sufficient preparation before physical exertion.
If you're like me and you haven't been skateboarding in the last 20 years, then you're probably not that young, and your body needs to warm up before you do pretty much any activity, especially something as dynamic as jumping around on a skateboard. I tried a bunch of different stuff to warm up. I actually started trying these dynamic stretches, but I found honestly that just rolling around on your board for a little while first really helps, but you definitely need to do something before you start going right into it.
Step 4. Briskly and briefly engage in wheelie plank trickery.
In the first few weeks of trying tricks, I would say my balance was absolute crap. I experienced everything on the spectrum of humbling to downright embarrassing. For me, the best thing that I did was actually try and skate at the park when nobody else was around, mostly so that I could experience those feelings alone. I found that weekdays generally were pretty good before 4 or 5 o'clock. And on the weekends, early in the morning was good. At the beginning, I needed a bit of a buffer to get a bit comfortable again.
Great success.
Even if you're in decent shape, skateboarding is a very specific movement that your body is just not used to. By limiting how long you go out and skate for, you're less likely to overdo it. I had one day where there was one trick that I was just trying over and over again, and it was getting worse and worse, and I was so sore the next day. I totally paid for it. I learned my lesson, and now I'm really careful about trying to shut my session down when I start to fatigue, because that's when injuries happen.
Step 5. Cease trickery and seek nourishment and inactivity.
Take care of your body. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure that you rest, that you eat good food, that you drink enough water. You could abuse your body when you were a kid and eat pizza and drink pop and then skate for 8 hours a day. You cannot do that when you are older. It's just not a good idea. You're gonna pay for it. It's really gonna hurt.
Step 6. Swiftly re-engage in more wheelie plank trickery.
There were definitely days when I was tired and sore the next day and I needed to rest and take a day off, but I think what was really important and what really helped me over the last 6 weeks was making sure that I got back out on the board, because that's how I was able to see progress. If you stick with it, you'll get better. For me, the difference between the first week and the 6th week was huge. Even the first week to the 3rd week was a pretty big difference. I had zero balance or confidence to try any grinds or ledge tricks within the first week or so, but by the time I got to the 3rd week, I was getting comfortable enough to try and do them. By the 6th week, I was getting even more comfortable and definitely ready to try some more stuff. think the biggest thing I learned from this is skateboarding is just as fun as it was when I was a kid. It also has some benefits. It's good exercise. You get outside. It's really creative, which is something that you don't get in a lot of other activities. And you can really do whatever you want with skateboarding. And I think that's the thing about it that I really love the most. I started out skating by myself. When I got comfortable, I started skating with other people. I forgot how genuinely nice skateboarders are. People are actually really excited when you land a trick that you've been trying. That part of it is really nice too. It is really just like riding a bike. Well, a bike that you constantly fall off of, and that when you fall off of it, it rams into your shins and bruises you. So stop watching this video and go out, get a skateboard and skate. I'll see you next time. Bye.